Welcome to NAIFA's Advisor Today podcast series, where we focus on how financial advisors work, live, and give to their local communities and our greater financial services industry. Now, let's get started with the show.
Hi, everyone. This is your co-host, Chris Gandy. I'm here with Advisor Today's podcast, and I'm here with my wonderful co-host, Suzanne Carawan. Hi, Suzanne.
Hey, Chris. How you doing?
Listen, we're bringing you guys the Christmas edition. This is my own and only Christmas hat here. So I brought my Boston Celtics green out, and we have a wonderful guest
Got
today.
my sparkles on.
And she's got her sparkles on. So before we get going, Suzanne, can you share with us who our sponsor is for today's podcast?
Sure, I'd be delighted to do that. So we have a new sponsor. We have a new partner. We're excited to welcome them in. Stonewood Financial has joined the NAIFA family as one of our preferred partners. And if you haven't ever heard of Stonewood, they do an amazing seminar series and education on tax retirement planning strategies. And they talk about how the biggest threat to your retirement planning is often the federal government with different kind of tax regulations and legislation that they might impose that you need to keep your clients abreast of. And of course, that's a natural fit for NAIFA. So we've paired together, and Stonewood is supporting us. We're supporting them, and we're excited to do a lot of good work together in 2024.
You know, Suzanne, you mentioned something pretty interesting, and I think at some point we should highlight that, right? We should definitely highlight our opportunities, some of the resources that our members have. With the new addition of FSP and some of the new collaborations, really highlighting some of those, the center of excellence and some of the opportunities that are there and benefits that most people don't realize you get by being the value add of being a one. So with that, Suzanne, would you care to introduce our guest for today's podcast?
We definitely need some intro music for this guy. So today we're joined by Joe Spinelli, who is one of our latest award winners. We just honored him in DC together this past, week and a half. And Joe, we're delighted to have you, and we're looking forward to getting to know you and telling us all about your award and what you're going to do with that thing.
Thanks for having me. Well, I appreciate it. And thanks for, it's an honor to get the top 4 advisor under 40 award. So for I don't know where you want to start.
Well, Joe, let's start with the tie. Where'd you get that tie at, Joe? I mean, everybody wants.
I think I got it on Amazon. It's a Kiss tie. I don't know.
I was gonna ask about the lapel pin. Oh, and then you flash the ring. Yeah. What's with the lapel pin?
I'm an a financial advisor for the Knights of Columbus, and this is we call it Supreme Knights Club Award. And this is, you get the pin the first year, and then you get the diamonds, and then the 11th year you get the ring. And I've got 4, and then at 25 years you fill the ring up, and then they give you a Rolex after your 25 years. So I'm at year 14 right now, working on 15. So yep. Oh, nice. Thank you.
All right, Joe. So let's talk a little bit about. Let's rewind the tape. Fair? Can I call you Joe?
Call you? That's fine.
Right,
Joe. Joe is good.
So share with us a little bit. I mean, there's a lot of younger advisors out there under 40 that may be aspiring to walk in your shoes. So share with us a little bit about how you got into the business. And what's kept you going in this business at the level you've been going at? Because obviously you've got the ring, you do the shadur, you're doing all types of cool stuff, getting the pins. I mean, what are you doing?
That bling.
What brought you in the business, and what's kept you in the business?
My dad started with the Knights Columbus in 1989. And I think my first steps were in probably the council hall in the Knights Columbus, because he been a member since I remember. And, when he got promoted to general agent and manager of all in North Florida, the territory in North Florida in 99. And I grew up around it. The joke is in our agency is I've been a field agent since, for 25 years before I started. And I really, and I played college. I played high school football, college football, and I didn't have any, I figured he never pushed me to become an advisor. And I figured I'd go into coaching or, I figured I'd coach football like after school, after I graduated. And, and about my sophomore, junior year, I'm like thinking I had a double majored in business and economics. And I'm thinking, I need to find a job. Oh, and then so I asked my mom, hey, do you think, and this is like my junior year, spring semester in my junior year of college. And I said, do you think I'd come work for Dad? And my mom, who doesn't sugarcoat things, she says, what makes you think Dad would hire you? So, and I'm like, okay. And lo and behold, and I started this in February of 2009, and I graduated in 3.5 years. And I just took my dad was a top 10 advisor for the Knights of Columbus before he got promoted to general agent that had a top 10 agency. And I did a couple things. I took the old football offensive lineman mentality, and then I said to myself, I'm going to listen to whatever my dad tells me. If he tells me, if he asks me to jump, I'm going to ask him, the old proverbiage, how high do you want me to jump? And I just kind of refused to get, to give up. Like there was no quit in me. I got so many no's. I got so many, and we have a saying, just next. There's so many people that need our services. Just move on to the next one. Go find the next one. And that's kind of what I, take that offensive lineman, don't look at life in look at life in the windshield, not through the rearview mirror kind of approach to things. And I know that's tough. That's tough for guys. Like, it's tough to get rejected. It's tough for the new advisor starting out. But that's what my approach is just take them one day at a time, and make sure you have, 12 to 15 appointments a week. It's still a numbers game, no matter what it boils down to. It's about getting in front of people. It's simple. It's like equated to blocking and tackling.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I love that. So you went from next play to next play to next call.
Yeah, the same thing. Like don't I might have given up a sack, but you got to get up in the next play, the 3rd and 15. We got to make that first down. So you got to forget about that. So and my brother came to work for us in December of 20, and he was a closer. He was a closer in college baseball. Those guys have to, they can't remember. That's the ultimate, like next play. So, I just took that, sports analogy approach and put it to good use. And I'm very competitive, and look at it. I got another sale. I need another one. Where's the next one going to come from? I still think about that at night, 15 years later. Like this morning, everybody's congratulating me on the award, and I go to my first appointment this morning. I got no-showed. So you have to stay level-headed. You can't get high and low. You can't get too high. You can't get too low. It's kind of what I've learned over the years. So, yeah. And I've been doing this 15 years now, almost 15 years. February of 24 will be 15 years.
So let's dig in a little bit. So you mentioned sports. How big of a role do you think sports had in your life, whether it was from just helping you develop in the discipline or just getting over disappointment quickly, right? Because the discipline of sports, right? What role do you think sports had in your life? And then how do you use sports now to continue to motivate yourself?
I think I think it helped me in a tremendous way. And I started playing soccer when I was 3 years old. My parents had us in activities. Like I played college football, my sister played college softball, and my brother played college baseball. But my other sister played, who didn't, I have oldest of four. My other sister played high school softball and volleyball. So, and it helped me develop time management, especially, and this, this can be a lonely career. And we tell our new advisors that, you have to block off you make your own calendar, you make your own schedule. It can be a blessing and a curse. That's one thing the time management of, and, in football, in college, it's regimented. Like we have schedules, like in camp, it's like the coaches we schedule the players out like from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Our schedules are.
Right.
And I just kind of took that same, and then the discipline to, it's tough to get up at, and thinking back I went to school about 2 hours outside of DC. And in January, February, it gets a little cold, and getting up at 5 a.m. on a Tuesday morning to go to morning workouts, that's tough. That's, just getting up, going through the motions. My mom used to tell us all the time, like, she used to say when we'd be sick or something, and I think she just didn't want us to stay at home. She just wanted us to go to school. She'd be like, go muddle through the day. Just get through the day. Go through. And I know it sounds, I don't know, like counterintuitive, but just go through the motions and you'll come out of, and that's why I tell our guys, just go through the motions and come out stronger. So
you got to trust the process. It's a process, right?
Exactly. Like, and get comfortable in uncomfortable situations. And I mean, that's probably one of the biggest pieces of advice I give new advisors: just get comfortable in uncomfortable situations, because, when you go into a home and you're talking about life insurance, that's an uncomfortable conversation. Mr. Prospect, what if you're not here tomorrow? How's your Mrs. Prospect going to pay the bills? Mrs. Smith going to pay the bills. What is she going to do? Or if you're not here, how's she going to be able to retire? Or vice versa, whatever field specialty you're in. So, but it's helped me, shape my life, I think, more than I realized.
And so when you were first starting out, you're coming in kind of behind your father. So you're in kind of the same area you grew up in and everything else. Where'd you find your first set of prospects? Like, how did you not run out of people?
Well, with the Knights, it's a little different. We're a fraternal company. And actually he said, well, I have 3 areas open. Okay. And it was Jacksonville, the west side of Jacksonville, the Villages, and Tallahassee, Panama City. And we had another advisor retire in Tallahassee, Panama City. And I just decided, hey, FSU spring break, I'll go to Tallahassee. I was 21 years old. So, and I just got involved, not really, and didn't really know anybody. And I basically, my cousin helped me move when, like, I put a bed in a filing cabinets, and I had to, it was like a hand-me-down old big screen TV that probably weighed 2,000 pounds. And I had found a place to rent, and it was this old A-frame, and I moved in, and I put everything in like a little U-Haul trailer. And I just started getting involved in the churches and the parish and the community, and just asking people, that's how, and just asking for an appointment, getting on the phone, calling people, calling our members. And it just took off from there. My wife is from Tallahassee. We've been married 10 and a half years now. I'll be 11 in March. So, and just kind of slowly, brick by brick, built a career. nice little career going here. So basically, and my dad, he helped set the foundation. But after about 2 weeks, 3 weeks of us, we did pre-contract work. We can, in the state of, and it depends on which state. In the state of Florida, you can write business before you're licensed under your manager, and then transfer it over to you. We did pre-contract work, and then like 2 or 3 weeks in, I'm like, Dad, you don't need to. I can do this. You can go work with somebody else. So he was almost holding me back. I don't want to say, but he's been such a good help, and my parents have been such a good help. I don't want to say he's holding me back, but he still goes on appointments with me too. So even 15 years later. So, but no, I mean, I kind of built it from the ground up. So
good. So you started from the bottom. Now you're here.
Mm-hmm.
What's next for you? That was a song.
Yeah.
I
don't know. I'm lifetime MDRT. I've been really involved in MDRT, NAIFA, the award. One next is I want to stay healthy. Number one, I had a brain cancer 5 years ago, and I want to be around for my kids, my children, my wife. We just, you met little Charlie at I think he stole the show in DC.
Good kid.
So
yeah.
And one, I want to stay healthy. I want to, maintain my health. And two, I think eventually the plan is to take over the agency for my dad and run the agency in Knights Columbus agency in North Florida, and just keep chugging along and keep taking it day by day. Because and I heard one of my mentors in the Knights Columbus said this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's a slow burn, a slow process. Like I tell our new advisors that you may meet with somebody and they may not buy from you today, but you never know. They may call you out of the blue 3, 4, 5, 10 years from now. And they say, hey, Joe, remember what we were talking about? And I want to sit down and discuss it, and just be pleasantly persistent. That's what pleasantly persistent. And, and at MDRT, they talk about 12 touches a year. And I heard somebody speak that said people will think about insurance or financial products 7 times in their lifetime. And I want to be the person they think about when they do decide to sit down. I want to be that first guy they call and reach out when they think about that. So, but no, and that's kind of a roundabout way to answer your question. But I'm still taking it day by day.
So Joe, walk us through. So your day to day, just talk about that. Let's just get a little more granular.
Yeah.
Okay. What does your day to day look like? I mean, are you making calls? Are you going to see people? Are you waiting for the phone to ring all day? Are you looking at your trophy, shining it up? What do you do?
No. After 15 years, I finally outsourced my caller. I have a caller that makes calls for me, and they've been doing a really good job. But typically, I would, get the kids off to school. Like this morning, I'll get the kids ready, get the kids out to school, and I go at about 7:30. I go run, bike ride, work out, and then I hit the ground running. I have, we have our agency call at 9:30 on Mondays, and then I'm working 4 appointments a day for 4 days and it ebbs and flows. That's not set per se. I have 2 tomorrow. I have 3 more today. I have 3 more today, and then I have 4 on Wednesday and 1 on Thursday. And I'm trying to build it because I'm taking a couple weeks off here. But typically I'm going Monday through Thursday, and that's typical. I do appointments from like 12 on. So, and I go all the way to Jacksonville, to Panama City. I do a lot of joint field work with other advisors too. So if other guy has a question, other advisors in our agency have questions, I help them out with that, or I go and joint field work, a lot of virtual stuff. And maybe, the next 3 appointments I have are on the virtual, on the Teams meeting. So today, so I'm not traveling as much, which is great. So it's allowed us to, see people that, and 3 hours away that I'd have to go over and spend at least 6 hour round trip. We can just meet on the phone, or meet over the computer. So, but typically it's just typically I spend, and Friday will be office work or, play day. So, spend time with the kids, and the one thing too is you have to block off family time. Like if I don't have an evening appointment, my kids are in jujitsu. Both my kids are, the older two, and their jujitsu classes are at 5:30, and they can go 6 days a week. And if I don't have an evening appointment, I'll take the kids to jujitsu. And especially outsourcing that call service, hiring a caller in our office has helped me do that. So I used to have to okay, I need to get a hold of these people. And now I'm not worrying so much about that. So, and one of the big, and I think one of the big things is, making sure, if I tell new advisors, make sure you schedule family time out. So, I mean, if clients will ask me, well, I can only meet on the weekends, or prospects will say, oh, I can only meet Friday or Saturday or Sunday. I was like, no, that's family time. If this is important to you, I don't want to sound arrogant. It goes back to the value proposition. If this is important to the prospect, they will make time to see you. So and it goes back to the next play. And you always have to remember that they need this more than you do. You need the sale. My family's going to eat no matter what, because and we're going to be able to pay our bills. But if you don't buy that policy, what are the consequences if you pass away? Is your wife going to be able to take care of it? Or if you don't purchase that annuity income stream in retirement, what is your likelihood of your portfolio running out of money? So you always got to remember that they need it more than you need the sale.
So Joe, that's intentional, right? So family is important to you. You can tell based on that. But when a new advisor starts, do they have to earn that time away from the business, or are they just automatically this is the discipline in the business necessary? So if they're keeping 2 appointments a day,
that's not going to work. It's 2 a week. I was going to say that's not enough. If you're not seeing, and we tell our new advisors that give this 1,000 days, you're going to work 5 days a week, maybe 6, but you have to block off family time or personal time, and you have to be, what's the word I'm looking for? You have to be deliberate when you talk to prospects, when you're trying to set an appointment with them, when you get in front of them, say, hey, that's family time, and usually that's just an objection. That's a way they're telling you, I can only meet on the weekends. And it's just kind of get you away. It's like, well, no, that's family time. Is daytime, come back to, is Monday through Thursday better? What days? I tell clients, I work from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Thursday. Really, let's block a schedule. Does any of those times work for you? And it's just, going back and forth. One of the best books I ever read was How You Raise Yourself from a Failure to a Success in Sales. And I can't remember who, but it was a insurance agent in the 1920s that wrote it. But it's general of how it covers all sales in general, but it talks about, just ask a question. When in doubt, ask a question. Why? Well, even if it's a why, well, why do you feel that way? Why do you feel? And they let it out and have, when you're in a poll, if you don't have a comeback per se to that objection, ask why. Why do you feel that way? And then let them verbally, and just shut up, and then let them verbally talk. So, but
So I'm back to, where are you finding new advisors? Because I think, especially for our fraternal, that's a little bit of a different animal, right? So how are you attracting people in they even know that's a career option for them?
Actually, we get a lot from other advisor referrals. Bring it on.
Oh, okay.
And then because we're like, the Knights Columbus is like the franchise model. It's like the Chick-fil-A model. We're given like, I like to say, and other advisors can't go write business in your client's house.
Right.
So we're a little different in a good way, so. But a lot of referrals.
Chick-fil-A is that's a good.
Yeah, the Chick-fil-A, the Chick-fil-A model. And so a lot of other agents refer, and I come across, like, I've found before I'm basically a personal producing general agent. So I work under my dad. So I have clients I take care of. And then I also do a lot of hiring and training of the other advisors. And like I go, before, one of our top advisors, he's in the Villages. He was actually doing property manage on beautiful, St. George Island in Florida. That's probably the most, I think it was voted top 10 beaches in the world at one time years ago. And just a quiet little Apalachicola fishing village. And he joined the Knights Columbus, and he contacted me about buying insurance. I met with him and his wife, and had a 1-year-old daughter at the time. And I just asked him, wrote it up, and they were living in a 1-bedroom apartment. And mind you, it's on the beach. It's right on the water. But I asked Kevin, where do you see yourself in 10 years? Your career? Or where do you see yourself going? And he said, I don't know, just here, and I said, you want to have a large family, Catholic family, how are you going to feed them, those family? And he said, I don't know. And I said, and he was he's very personable. And I said, you need to talk to my dad. And the next thing you know, and he's, it's a leap of faith. He's moving 4 hours to the Villages, and his career's taken off.
Wow.
And so, lo and behold, he meets with my dad, and dad lays it all out, and he's done very well for himself. So, and then we've got some LinkedIn leads, but really it's word of mouth.
Oh, Joe, I think, there you go.
So it sounds like, you've had some success. You've got the world ahead of you. You've got your hands in a little bit of development. You've got your hands in a little bit of coaching clients. I'm using sports analogies, right? So you're doing some coaching clients, you're doing coaching, new advisors, you're doing some recruiting, you're doing a little bit of that. You're also leading others, on the sidelines, giving them plays. Here's the way you do it. I get it. So, but talk to me a little bit about, let's talk a little bit about the relationship with your dad. Are you good with that?
Oh yeah.
You mentioned your dad was, what is the one lesson you've learned from your dad that you would say is just paramount?
Oh, that's a good question.
Joe, what do you think? I ask bad questions here? I mean, this is the
no. I gotta think about this, man. I gotta think about this. This is good. I think when I first started, I wanted it all, and I wanted it right now.
Yeah.
And he taught me to just take a step back and observe. He's like very observant, very calculated in what he does. He doesn't just do anything without thinking about it. And I think what I learned from him early on is stepping back. And my uncle, and I didn't mention my uncle, has been a general agent for the Knights since 1992. My uncle's worked for the Knights, and he's actually retiring here in January. And they use the old, I don't know if it's inappropriate, but the old bull, young bull story. That's what, my dad and Uncle George used, the analogy when I first started, because I wanted it all and I wanted it right now. I wanted to sell everybody. And Dad's like, you're not going to sell everybody, just move on. You're not going to be able to write everybody. So you can try, but you're not going to be able to. But if you see the people, and he taught me to take a step back and be, patient. My dad's a very patient person. And I'm not, I'm not as patient as he is. I just don't have the patience for, but I think that's, the key is what I learned early on from him is just to take a step back, breathe, and analyze the situation. So,
but what's interesting is that relationship with your dad. Let's now transcend this thing. You have a son.
Yeah.
So what is the one thing that your dad does that you would emulate to your son if he came and decided to come into the business? So there's the generational piece. And what's the one thing your dad does that you wouldn't do that you would teach your son not to do? Because we all have that, right? We all have the, I get it.
Yeah. I mean, my son, if he came into the business, it'd be teaching him it's basics. It's still a people business. It's still, and what my dad was trained on 30 something years ago, it's still relevant today. And it's still more than likely 99% chance it'll still be relevant if my son, I have two sons. I had two sons that come into the business, and I'm not going to push them. If they want to do that, like he's going to be 7 this month. He started out, he wanted to be a garbage man because he loves just trucks and, stuff. And then now he says he wants to be a football player. He said, when I play at FSU, and I'm like, okay, James, you're going to have to work hard. You're going to have to work hard on that. And then he was talking about, and then he mentioned something, if I come work for the Knights, Columbus, because my brother works for the Knights,
Yeah, they know it.
And they all know it. And it just assumes, I'm like, you don't have to, James. You don't have to come work for the Knights. And that's, basically the consistency of the business. That's what I would teach, the basics to the business, the phone, picking up, making appointments. And that might change over the years. I know people don't answer their phones anymore, text message, emails, but getting appointments, it's simple. Get the appointment, go on the appointment, and then analyze what you did right and what you did wrong on the appointment. It's basically the football now. Like, you practice all week for a football game, you watch the other team's film, you play the game, and then you watch the film at the end of the game and you see what you did wrong, what you did right. Break it down. And that doesn't change. Now, with my dad, I would use more technology. He's not a tech guy. We don't even have we don't have an agency website. It's just a Facebook page, and you utilizing more technology. So, and I'm not a tech guy by any stretch of the means. I'm kind of an old school. I still, make my notes on a yellow pad of paper when I'm at clients. And so, but integrating technology more into it with the younger generation is what I would do. I would do.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
Note taking is okay. It means you're a kinesthetic.
Oh no, yeah. So, yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
You're not tech savvy. It just means you learn differently.
Jim, you brought me back to something that's kind of interesting that most people don't understand. So I'm gonna go down to your sports route for a second. You brought up film sessions. You can talk to me. I'm a former athlete myself. Right?
Oh, cool. What did you play?
I played at the University of Illinois, so I'm a fan.
Oh, cool.
A Big Ten guy.
Oh, cool. Oh, no, I didn't make that.
I was on the other side.
I played Division III. We had to pay them to let us play. Oh.
Still, regardless of the level, though, let's talk sports for a minute. I want people to just get an understanding of how intense is the difference between high school and college.
It is. Oh, sorry. It is. So even though I played Division III, and we were a top 10 team in Division III, we're top 25. I think every year I played there, played at Bridgewater, and except for my senior year, we weren't that good at my senior year. So the players might not be 6'2" or 6'3" or like a lot, but they might be 5'10". Like the offensive lineman might not be 6'5", but they still were the best players for the most part on their high school team. They might not run a 4.4, but they might run a 4.5, and they still can play. They still can play. And that was an eye-opening experience my freshman year. I thought I was going to, I'm going, I'm over arrogant. I'm going in. No, my first padded practice in camp, like it was an eye-opening experience. Like it was just, okay, all right, I got to step my game up. I got to, because in Bridgewater, we had, we made the playoffs my freshman year, and we had a great team, and we lost in the Elite Eight. And then my sophomore year, we had won the conference 5 years going into my sophomore year, so everybody could play. There wasn't, and there was so it was 5 deep on the depth chart going in, and everybody, and then it's the next man up, like the third string left guard could probably start for any other team in the conference. My freshman and sophomore year. So it just, there's not a big gap. Like some they just get overlooked, they get injured, they get passed up by
bad luck, just bad timing.
Yeah. So
I like about that is you either like to test your mettle and be surrounded by that, and you step up your game, or you say, I don't want to do it.
Yeah. I remember our running back, he came in my class, our running back, he ran track and field, and he got an offer to go to UVA to run track and field, but he wanted to play football. So he wanted to play football. So that was his passion. So, and then there was all kinds of and Coach Clark, he was a former defensive coordinator at Virginia Tech. And are you familiar with Virginia Tech? They fired him and they hired Bud Foster. So, and good for Bridgewater.
Yeah.
So, Coach Clark would just find these players. Like maybe my freshman year, our quarterback was a William and Mary transfer, a 1AA school. We had in JMU, James Madison was right down the road from us. And we had a couple of transfers from James Madison. And so, everybody could play though.
So what I'm hearing is I talk about it sometimes, and I say, the difference between high school and college is it's a business.
Yeah.
Start to realize the disciplines. You can't really have lack of discipline to be able to make in the depth chart and be able to actually go out and perform without the next guy saying, I want your spot. You got to be able to execute better than others. So, sports is such a great teaching lesson in life. But when you start to make it through the process to the next level and to the next level, So you're transcending. So let's use sports in this situation. Now you're 40 under 40. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now you know the next one is like top of the table. You know the next one is 2 times top of the table, right?
Yeah.
And so now you're making it to the place where, you know, you're going to be amongst many that have done the 40 under 40.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And so now it's like, okay, let's see what you're made of, right? Now you start looking at, okay, so what are these numbers I really need to be at to be in the quote unquote, you know, to be in the Hall of Fame? What does that really look like, right? And whatever it's funny. I would go to your dad and say, Dad, tell me the best year you've ever had. I know you might not have been, just tell me that best year, right? And challenge yourself to the best person. Whoever's had the best year that you know of, even if they're not in Knights, they could be in whatever, right? Because, you know, what NAIFA allows us to do is kind of transcend our corporate relationships, right?
Oh, yeah.
Allows for us to challenge ourselves in different ways across unique opportunities. So you really challenge yourself. My challenge for you is now you've got the 40 under 40 under your belt. What's next? What does that look like? Is it quarter of the table? Is it top of the table? Is it 2 times top of the table? And I share this with you because I go back and I listen to Mike Krzyzewski, who's like one of the greatest philosophers.
Yeah.
Right. And one of the things he says that if you want to be great, you have to challenge yourself to the best that's ever played. Right. And so you start to think about it. Who's the best that's playing our game now? And, you know, maybe it's the top guy in Knights. I'm not sure, but maybe it's the top. But I just think because of sports, your ability to be able to continuously challenge yourself to be not everybody else is good, because everybody else is good is not your good because you played college sports. It's unfair, right? Okay, they were all good at your level. You know what I'm saying? Like, superstar in high school, got it. But now you're at this level where they're going to challenge you a little differently to be that much better, right? And either A, like you said, you step up and you say, okay, I'm that person. Let's go get it. Like, you're competitive. Or you say, hey, you know what? I'm good. I kind of got some things in place. I'm doing pretty good, you know, whatever it may be. Whatever that path you decide to take, though, I think will lead you down the next opportunity for your advisor of the year or whatever that championship looks like to you that you want to win and you want to win consistently. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I throw that out to you as a challenge. I'm assuming you're going to step up to the challenge because you told me you're competitive. So that's kind of how it works. So let's, Suzanne, before we get to the lightning round of our conversation here, let me just ask you this, Joe. 40 under 40. What does that award mean to you?
I mean, it's such an honor because it's not just, you know, the Knights Columbus. I've gotten plenty of awards from the Knights Columbus, and not to bash the Knights, but this is like the peers. This is peers, and to be it's such an honor. You know, and my dad taught us just go. And one of the things another thing is he's taught us just to go and do your job, and don't you don't need accolades. Just the clients, their appreciation will be enough. And I've just, gone about my business. But now getting this award, it's like, I don't even know I'm kind of speechless. Like, I don't know, being voted the top 4 under 40 is and it's not just, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it.
What did your dad say? What did your dad say when you told him?
Oh, he's like, oh, cool. Good.
It's like, yeah.
Good.
Good, you did your job.
Yeah. Yeah, did a job. He's got that old school mentality of, your incentive is you get, if you work, your incentive is you get to keep your job.
Yeah.
So he's not I don't know, there's other general agents in the Knights that are younger and they take their, they do these trips and, bonuses and incentives. And, my dad's tried these things and it's just, you get to keep your job, so that's the old school way.
Live another day. That's right.
Live another day.
Whether what I found, Joe, is some of the, let's call it, seasoned gentlemen in our business. They weren't raised that way, right?
Yeah.
And so even though he may not say it, I'm sure he's very proud of you and what you've become.
My mom, at least, was proud.
Of course, I'm sure he is. Even though he may
yeah.
not say it, I'm sure he's super excited about not only what you've done, but where
One other question I have for you. When you were in DC, did you have a chance to get to know Joe Jordan? Did you get a chance to sit down with him and talk to him?
I've met him before in the past. Like he's done some seminars for the Knights of Columbus, and I've talked to him. And he went out in Atlanta at MDRT in 2012. We ran into him at a bar with a bunch of the Knights advisors in Atlanta, and he came out with a suitcase of,
right, bow tie and all. Yeah.
So, I mean, I have so much respect for him. And that was one of the first books I read, Living a Life of Significance. And I used to, I need to probably start doing it. I'd hit a slump and I would listen to his main platform speech at MDRT. And I tell our guys, if you just listen, if you're in a slump and you're on your way driving to an appointment, listen to that speech. What you do matters. So, and how, just his passion, the passion for this industry, it's second to none, and he's still doing it. Like, that's what amazes me. Yeah. Like he could, and him, like Van Mueller, Tom Hegna, they don't need to do it, but they still do it with a passion. They could just go right off into the sunset, and how he's still, passionate and speaking, and it's tremendous. It's tremendous. So, man, I have a lot of passion. I look up to him. So
I'll pass that along. Yeah. The other good nights out there. All right, Chris, we're probably ready for our lightning round.
Let's do it. So I'm gonna call that the Mount Rushmore of insurance, right? You got all of those guys up there that where do they fit, right? All right, so Joe, this is called the lightning round. The whole goal is people probably know you 40 under 40. They're gonna read about you in the magazine. They're gonna be like, oh, he's a great guy, but they don't really know you, Joe, right? Okay, so we want to get to know you a little bit. So whatever comes to mind, it's kind of a lightning round. Whatever comes to mind, just tell us. Well, like really simple. Right. So when you were growing up, give me an example. When you were growing up, did you have a nickname?
Joe.
That's what they call it.
Yeah.
See, that was easy. What position did you play in high school?
I played offensive line.
What position did you play in college?
Offensive line.
Okay. Same position, or they moved you around in college?
They moved me around. I played all 5 offensive line positions, and then my last 2 years I played. We flop, like, called the strong side guard. We used to flip positions, flip lines. So, yeah. But basically I played guard my last 2 years of college.
Okay. So most people don't know that. They think you play one position for your entire career. Most people don't know that. People say, what position did you play? I said, I played all of them but point guard. They were like, what? That's how it works. It was like 5 positions, like a bunch of them. So, okay, so with that in mind, tell us a little bit about what was the one thing that you would say to new advisors coming into the business in their first year? You could share that you would say, focus on this. What is the one thing? You can give one piece of advice.
Get in front of as many people as possible.
Got it.
Whether it's phone calls, the church activities, functions, community functions, get in front of as many people as possible.
How do you stay motivated?
It's easy when you have 3 mouths and to feed, and a wife that stays at home, Courtney stays at home. It's not, it had just the competitiveness. Like, and it's like we in the Knights, they rank us, it's called Lancer. 1, 8 advisors, 1, 2, the last guy. You don't want to be but it's competitive. And every year, January 1, it's done. It's over with.
Sure. That's right.
That's why I said and everybody starts fresh every single year. So the top guy that maybe finished number 1 or 2, and we actually, one of our advisors in our agencies, he's number 2 in November, and he's, hopefully going to finish number 1 or 2 here in that whole night's in the company. And when January 1 comes around, we're all back to zero. So that's what it's not hard to keep motivated I don't like motivate. It's about discipline, and the old Jocko, and I know it's cliche, the Jocko Willing thing, and motivation, motivation is fleeting. It can come and go. You just have to have the discipline to get up, tie your bootstraps on. And there's some days like, I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to go. Like my wife, her car blew up. We only have one car right now this week because her car's in the repair shop. And I really didn't want to deal with it. But I had to hey, I gotta tie my bootstraps on. It's going to be a pricey repair. So, but you got to do what you got to do. But tie your bootstraps on, and or lace your Forsheim's or whatever shoes you wear, and remember that everybody puts their pants on one leg at a time. Whether it's that multi-million-dollar client or prospect you're trying to, or the family, that young family that just desperately needs our products that we have. Don't ever forget that. So,
and then, Joe, question for you: the association, right? You were part of the NCAA before, and now you're a part of NAIFA, or you're part of the association. You're in an elite club. So tell us a little bit about why NAIFA, why are you involved, and why you've stayed committed for so long.
Well, the way I look at it, I first joined because of the advocacy, and the way I look at it is, and my dad says it best, it helps us, it protects us from the people we vote in the office, and protects our business. The way I've been describing the award to clients is, it's our association. It's like a medical association or any other association. I know in Tallahassee, it's the capital of Florida, so they all know what the associations are. Fairly familiar with the different associations. So, and that's the way I equate it is, with the DOL rule and all this stuff, all the craziness that they try and pass. I look at NAIFA as the advocacy, and I'm just learning. I'll be honest, I'm learning about the more stuff that NAIFA does, and the FSP, and all the Life Happens. I've used Life Happens stuff before in the past, but bringing all the brands under one roof, it's a great thing. And you can be have a go-to resource for stuff, for questions, or if you need anything, and the big thing is what NAIFA does is, you're not alone in this business. You're not alone in the industry. Everybody's dealing with the same things, whether you work for, Knights Columbus, New York Life, or an independent person. We all have the same struggles, and we can all relate to the same things. So, and it kind of brings us together.
Joe, it's been a pleasure. Listen, continue to play the game at a high level.
You do. Thank you.
Continue the road to success. You've only begun to scratch the surface. 40 under 40 got you in camp. Now you got to make the team. People are going to start calling you, saying, "Hey,
yeah."
Keep stepping up. That's right.
Joe, do you have anything else before we close? I'm gonna kick it to Suzanne, and then I'll close us up.
Oh no, I don't have anything else. Suzanne.
Yeah, I just say congratulations again. We're excited to to continue to publicize you and promote you and watch you as you continue that journey. Yeah. Thank you, Stonewood Financial. Looking forward to do more work with you. And then Chris, Merry Christmas to you, sir.
Well, Suzanne, as I close us out with my Christmas Celtics hat, listen, everyone out there in NAIFA land, thanks for tuning in to Advisor Today's podcast, where we uplift, promote, and we hear from our future leaders like Joe why you need to be a NAIFA member and stay connected. And we look forward to having a wonderful, wonderful holiday to everyone out there. Be blessed, be safe, and we look forward to seeing you in 2024, where we bring back Advisor Today's podcast. We'll see you on the other side.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for joining us for NAIFA's Advisor Today podcast series. Make sure to subscribe to get future episodes. And if you're interested in coming on the show, let us know.